Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my book haul for September 2023. This is a book haul that's heavy on the indies and heavy on short story collections, and all of it feels very apropos to my month in a way that should hopefully become apparent very soon. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And I'm going to start with two literary journals I got in the mail recently, and I technically focus mostly on short stories in these because that's what I write. The first collection I'll talk about is American Short Fiction, Volume 26, Issue 78 from summer 2023. And this edition has the winner of the Halifax Ranch Fiction Prize winner published within it. I actually submitted my own short story, Lashon Hara, to this particular prize, and I got back what I think was a pretty nice rejection letter. And what do you know, this really is perfect timing. Like, it took them a little while, actually, to publish the winner, but also this month, Lashon Hara, the story I submitted to this, got published itself on Fiction on the Web just last week. And I got some great comments that live with the story now on Fiction on the Web. I will link to that down below. I'm looking forward to reading the winner in this, as well as, you know, the rest of this collection. And of course, as is indicated, American short fiction is entirely short fiction. And the second literary journal I got in the mail is Pembroke Magazine, which I got as part of my Journal of the Month subscription. Journal of the Month is this program that will send you a journal either every month or every quarter. That's at least the subscription that I am signed up for. So this is for the fall 2023 quarter. And there is actually a sell sheet with Pembroke Magazine, which says, "Dear Reader, I'm so pleased to present you with the 55th issue of Pembroke Magazine. Started in 1969 by poet Norman MacLeod, PM has been published annually ever since. Over the years, our pages have featured emerging and acclaimed writers from North Carolina and beyond. Lee Smith, Fred Chappell, Robert Morgan, Ron Rash, Linda Hogan, James Applewhite, Michael Chitwood, Tim McLaurin, Dabney Stewart, those and more have appeared in the magazine. This most recent issue contains poetry, fiction, creative nonfiction, and reviews by emerging and established authors from the U.S. and abroad. A peaceful night is thrown into chaos for a group of employers working abroad. A woman struggles to cope with being the cause of a man's death. A man searches the streets of Vickytown for some eel pies amongst exotic time travelers. A melodious voice inspired by Mariah Carey touches the heart of a grumpy retired engineer in Croatia. A groundhog's rib cage is crushed in preparation for a family's meal, and much more. Make sure to read the contributors' notes in the back, including the author's reflections on their pieces." So, yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, literary magazines like this are definitely getting more and more speculative, like, you know, thinking of time travel stories and all that sort of stuff. Well, I guess at least I hope that's in fiction. Maybe I'll be able to read it, because one thing I do with literary journals, my intention is to read and discuss them in my AM reading videos, and I actually started that this month with the Iowa Review. And now I have these two in the docket to continue that trend going forward, so I'm very excited. And continuing with the short stories trend, earlier this month I went to a very small literary book festival in Washington, D.C. It is the Literary Hill Book Fest, and I also got this really fun tote that you can wear on your back, and it has this, you know, great logo that goes with it. And I stopped by the booth of the Washington Writers Publishing House. Here's their bookmark. They're a very small local press that predominantly publishes writers in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. And one of their recent releases is this short story collection, The Witched Bottle and Other Stories by Suzanne Feldman. I was immediately drawn to it before even going to the Lit Fest. I just saw the cover online and I thought, wow, this is really pretty. And so hopefully the stories are as pretty as well. But yeah, I'm excited to have it. And finally, just for something a little different, after the Literary Hill Book Fest, I went just down the street to Capitol Hill Books. It's one of those used bookstores that's in a row house crammed full of books. And this time that I went, they seemed particularly haphazard and out of order. But I go like in a scavenger hunt mode to try to find a book that's already on my TBR. And I ultimately found this one. This is Olympus, Texas by Stacy Swan. I first heard about it through a podcast I listened to. I think it was The Shit No One Tells You About Writing, which is a writing craft podcast. And the author was on board to talk about her book, and it sounded intriguing to me, so I will read from the flap. The Briscoe family is once again the talk of their small town when March returns to East Texas 2 years after he was caught having an affair with his brother's wife. His mother, June, hardly welcomes him back with open arms. Her husband's own past affairs have made her tired of being the long-suffering spouse. Is it perhaps time for a change? Within days of March's arrival, someone is dead, marriages are upended, and even the strongest of alliances are shattered. In the end, the ties that hold them together might be exactly what drag them all down. An expansive tour de force, Olympus, Texas cleverly weaves in elements of classical mythology into a thoroughly modern family saga, rich in drama and psychological complexity. After all, at some point, don't we all wonder, what good is this destructive force we call love? So yeah, I was intrigued by the way mythology, classical mythology, might trickle into it. I also feel like it took a bit of a hard left, like in this blurb, because, we're talking about adultery, which is its own thing, it's a bad thing, but, a murder happening, it's a bit something else. So, this seems to be jam-packed with drama, so I will be getting to it sometime in the future, I hope, and then reporting back. And that about covers it for me now. I hope the sound hasn't been too wonky with this video. Speaking of being in the DC area, I feel like there's been some helicopter action above me, which sometimes happens around here, but I definitely wanted to film this now because we are officially at the end of the month, and I want to be able to squeeze this in. I still have some final September and quarterly videos I want to get to, I guess in early October by this point. But anyway, you can expect me back here imminently on the channel for my wrap-up of September reading, where I talk about everything I haven't yet in my previous videos this month, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you would like more information about any of the books or literary journals or organizations I talked about, I'll have it linked down below, including, again, a link to the short story Lashon Hara that I had published this month if you want to check it out and read it for free. And yeah, I hope you all had a great September, reading and otherwise. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.